Hi, everybody. Um, just thought I'd record something as a bit of a testimony, really. Um, I'm sitting over in the car in Roach's Point, and for those that don't know where it is at the mouth of Cork Harbour. It's one of my most favourite places to come to. The scenery here is stunning, but it's just a chance to reflect. Yesterday, I began a journey of counselling. And from the get go, I want to thank Shine a Light. They're a charity for suicide prevention and counselling for helping to make it happen. But also the Katrina Toomey of Penny Dinners, my dear friend, for putting me in contact with them. And the first question I was asked yesterday was, why do you think you need counselling? Well, there are many reasons why I believe I need counselling. I suppose my initial answer was that I've been in free fall for a long period of time. And that is true. And when I came home yesterday, I sat down and I started reflecting on that. And just a wave of emotion came over me. Could it be that I went through a period of bullying in school? In primary school, where it was physical bullying. In secondary school, it was more psychological. And then I started to think about a talk I was at where I was introduced to Shine a Light. And it was a workshop given by Graham McCormack. And his story is well known. But he made a statement to those of us that were there to always remember that you are enough. And I think that is what has spurred me to go for counselling, because I think I've never felt that I have been enough. It has been, I suppose, since my mum died, and she'll be gone 3 years next Tuesday. I've lost that person that was constant in my life, that I could talk things through with. But even knowing that she was there to talk to and to listen to me, I found it hard to unload or open up about things that happened to me. You see, I grew up as a single child. I was adopted. And after my dad died, my grandparents moved in with mum and I. So I really grew up with adults. And hence, and I can say this with certainty now, that is why when I was in school, I never felt comfortable with people my own age. Probably because I never socialized with them. I always felt safer with people who were older than me. And much of my early life, was spent in the church as an altar server, as a reader, as a singer. And people, when they're going through school, they're thinking about careers. I only ever had one in mind. I wanted to be a priest. I really, really, truly wanted to be a priest. But that dream, that desire, was stolen from me during that first year in seminary. And I'm not going to go into that any further, because there's things going on in the background that I don't want to, upset or whatever. But I think that was the moment where I really began to believe myself that I wasn't enough. And I can honestly say that was the time that I began to hate myself for what had happened. I thought there would be no end to this bullying. Why am I being targeted? I now realise that I'm not the only person to have been targeted. But when you're living in that reality, it's hard to realise that others are in the same boat as you. You think you're the only person. And I went down a downward spiral where I ended up actually abusing myself, hurting myself, trying to be somebody different, so that maybe, just maybe, that hurt would go, that pain would go, that I would feel that I'm accepted. It was only 4 years before Mum died that I finally opened up to her as to what had happened to me in college. And she cried her heart out and she said, Dar, why did you never tell me? Why didn't you tell me what happened, my little boy? Or why didn't you talk to your Uncle John? He was a priest. I said, Mum, I couldn't. I said, he was so happy in what he was doing. How could I open up? And anyway, who was going to believe me? And I carried that for so long. Who was going to believe me? It got to such a stage of self-hatred that I grew a beard to hide because I didn't like who I was looking at. And when I made the decision to transition, and it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, I was dealing with a counsellor, well, a psychotherapist for near on 15 years. I can honestly say now, it wasn't for the right reasons. I was trying to get away from me. Because when you begin to hate yourself, you assume that everybody else hates you too. When I came out to Mum a year before she died as being trans, she was so delighted she accepted me. But what mother wouldn't? She knew what I had gone through. In fact, only 2 months before she died, when her solicitor was present to do her last will, she asked me into the room to tell him what had happened. And he was shocked. But when Mum died, I lost my rock. I lost the shining light that believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. And Mum believed in me so much that even when she knew that I was on a slippery path, she always believed that I'd come back, that I'd figure things out. I wish to God that I had that belief in me. In the midst of all of that, the one thing that always gave me a sense of hope and purpose, I guess you could call it a drug. It was music, performing, opportunity to sing. I remember being asked in the Bonds Hospital only a few weeks before Mum died, when she had listed out all the hymns she wanted for her funeral and insisted that I'd sing them there and then, as her own words, well, I won't be there on the day, Dar, to listen. One of the care assistants asked me, where's your favourite place to sing? Now, initially, and somewhat jovially, I said, well, that's easy, singing at funerals, because I've never received a complaint. But it's much deeper than that. I love singing in church. I come alive. No, I come alive when I sing generally anyway. But there's something really, really moving when I have an opportunity to sing in church. Something, again, I haven't had an opportunity to do since I started transitioning. But in August of this year, whilst down in Kerry with my little dog Magic, I felt I reconnected with Mum again. Not that I didn't feel connected before that, but whilst walking on a footpath in Ross Bay where we had spent our last holiday together just a few short months before she died, I became overwhelmed with emotion. And it was like as if Mum was taking off the blinkers. She was opening my eyes. And I was finally able to realise why I chose the transition in the first place. It was because of what was done to me as a teenager. I was running away. I was filled with so much anger. You see, when I was 20, I planned my own suicide. I wanted out. I couldn't cope with it anymore. And I've always said it was a song played on radio by Alf McCarthy, The Impossible Dream, that saved my life. Well, that's partially true. It did. But it was also the love of my mum. How could I leave her behind? She had lost my dad at a young age. She nursed and cared for her parents. And then I was going to do this? And maybe it would have been the easier option. But in the end, I chose not to. But the path I did go down proved to be hell on earth. So why do I need counselling? Because I need to talk about everything that went on. I need to open up. And as someone said to me, take everything out of the closet, empty the closet. I need to. Because I need to find me again. And I need to realise that I am worthy. And I need to build up a strength. I need to build up a guard around me. So that I'm not going to be bullied anymore. That I won't be disrespected anymore. That I won't be put down anymore. I know in my heart of hearts how much I love singing. And I've had a lot of success in the past. Unfortunately, it was frowned upon by some. And some, even to this day, try to put me down. But I don't want to be put down anymore. I've had enough of it. Life is hard enough for people. You know, people live through illnesses. I have MS. I was walking through Cork City yesterday to use a crutch. And I felt so much in the way. Not because I'm big and overweight, which I am, but because I was so slow. And people were stuck on their phones and they were sort of pushing me out of the way. Nobody should be pushed out of the way. If people are walking around with a crutch or a stick, it's not because they want to, it's because they need to. But that's kind of a side. That's a rant. I need counselling to heal. I need counselling to grow. I need counselling to be me. And if what I'm talking about now can help one person out there to reach out and be heard. I can tell you one thing about counsellors. They've heard it all before. And one thing I will say, as we're approaching a general election, when I asked my GP back in September, when I said to him, I need help, I need counselling, and to be fair, he referred me for it. It would have been through the HSC. And they contacted me to say that there was a 12-month waiting list. You know, you might feel good right now, but you mightn't feel so good tomorrow, or even in an hour or two. So we must put pressure on the candidates running for election to ensure that there are timely interventional mental health services available, and that are not based on shame, they're not based on failure, they're based on hope, they're based on understanding, and most importantly, they're based on welcome. So guys, that's enough from me. I'm getting back into my singing. How am I going to get back into singing in the church? I don't know, but we'll figure that out. I have this long-awaited album to come out too. But I am also very grateful. I'm very grateful to be living. I'm very grateful for my little doggy Magic. And I'm very grateful for the life of love that my mum gave to me. So, in finishing up, to anyone that's looking at this, is listening to this, if I haven't bored you to tears already, just remember, you're not alone, and you are worthy. You are enough. Take care. Bye-bye.